Hello and welcome to the Science Fiction Double Feature Podcast, podcast 62. It's a special hard-spoiled edition of the podcast this week slash month because we're going to talk about Spider-Man. We're going to talk about all the things that happen in Spider-Man. This is my co-host Terry. Say hello, Terry.
Hello, Terry.
How are you today?
It's been a pretty good day. Been a good day. Went to the park with my boy and rode down some hills on a bike. So we felt
Good.
like Spider-Man,
Oh, that's nice.
getting some air, going down slides. Spider-Man does that stuff. He's a kid.
I guess, yes, Spider-Man, noted child, enjoys slippery dips and also does whatever a spider can. Um, so yes, there's a new Spider-Man movie that's been out for a while. This is the first chance we've had to talk about it. Called Spider-Man: Homecoming. It's the first Spider-Man movie set in the MCU. So this is the third time around for Spider-Man. It's Tom Holland this time. And the movie is about basically Michael Keaton plays a guy, not Birdman, but like a bird guy.
Like a
Uh,
Batman.
yeah, almost like he's more like a diesel punk.
Beetlejuice. Sorry, he does a lot of animal villains.
What kind of animal is Beetlejuice? Oh, he's a beetle.
He's a
Never mind.
beetle.
Juice of a beetle. Yeah. Michael Keaton is an all-American hero, just trying to make a buck any way he can, even though the big government wants to pull him down, and he's thwarted by the minion of billionaire Tony Stark, Spider-Man. Um, it's kind of yeah. I don't know. Did you like the movie, Terry?
I did. I don't know if you have. Do you like the movie?
No, I didn't. I didn't like the movie.
You didn't like it. I really enjoyed it. I
You didn't
really
like the
did.
movie, which is why I'm very sarcastic about it. Um,
Oh.
it's yeah. I'll say yeah. Do you want to explain to people what the movie's about in a more positive light?
Well, Spider-Man, he's young. He's like had this one-hit wonder with Civil War, where he thinks he's like halfway to Avengers, but really Tony Stark's like, no, you need a bit more growing room. There, you go be a friendly neighborhood Spider-Man and leave the big stuff to the big boys. You just like help old ladies across the street or whatever. But he thinks he's going to be in the big shot very soon. And I think as any young teen who gets their head in the clouds, they think they're a little bit more capable than what they actually are. So he gets himself into a bit of trouble here, and Michael Keaton, he's stealing some Avengers stuff and MCU junk to make his own sort of weapons, I suppose. And yeah, Spider-Man's got to take him down and prove himself to the Avengers.
Yep,
Are you
that's pretty
still
much
there?
it. Yeah, no, I'm still here. I thought you were still going. Um, yeah, that's pretty much that's the better, more accurate, and more positive version of what it's about. Excuse me. Um, I suppose notably, the last two outings of Spider-Man, and the majority of times that we get a standalone film about a superhero, we get an origin story, and that doesn't really happen here. We get where it's kind of assumed that we know from the previous two versions of Spider-Man what the Spider-Man story is, generally speaking, and it kind of just follows on, as Terry says. It's the fallout from his very large cameo in Civil War. Um, I don't know. I don't. I think. I mean, we don't need to see. I don't think at all Spider-Man getting bit by a radioactive spider, but I think just very much feels to me like the second movie. It feels like that we are missing like the first. It feels like a sequel, very much so, not to Civil War, but to a movie we haven't seen, where Spider-Man has kind of been established, and now he wants more than he got in whatever this hypothetical other movie. Um, and yeah, it doesn't feel like to me. One of the problems I had with it is that it doesn't feel like we're just dropping into the Spider-Man story with this assumption that we know all this stuff. It feels like we actually missed a movie in the series that didn't come out. Specifically, I think like Uncle Ben is very critical to this character. I'm not a Spider-Man fan at all, but I kind of understand the basics of it. To me, I think is not gets bit by a spider, gets spider powers, and then learns a very harsh lesson from the death of his uncle. And we don't really have that sense here. I don't think that that's happened. I think it's been vaguely hinted at, but I don't get the sense that that's what drives this Spider-Man at all. I don't know. Did you feel like there was an absence like that? That there was not, it wasn't just assuming that we were familiar with this character generally, but there was like a specific story that we missed?
No, I'm actually going to take the opposite side and say I'm glad we didn't get that story because it would have been the same as the two, well, very similar to the two that we've had before, the two origin stories um, by Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield. It would have been very, very similar in that regard. And I think I think Marvel realize that when they go into it, they go, well, we've already had two. We know he gets bit by a spider. We know Uncle Ben dies. We know he has to push past that, and that like spurs him on and want to be a hero. Um, so I'm fine with them not doing that. I will disagree with you saying that this isn't an origin story. It is an origin story, just not of Spider-Man. It's an origin story of him getting his origin into the MCU, his origin into Avengers, which is coming up. And it felt very much like that. He's young, he doesn't know what he's doing, he's still learning his powers and capabilities. And if we got that story that you were talking about before, we would have. I don't think he would have. He would have already learned all those things. We would have already seen all that. And I liked in this that he had no clue what the hell he was doing. He was way over his head. And he was just kind of bumbling along through most of it and lucking out on some of it. It felt very real, like what kids and probably myself when I was a teenager, we get ideas in our head thinking that okay, this is our shot, we're going to get bigger, it's all going from here. But the reality is, no, you've got to sit there and do your training, and then you can progress. Where he's taken a step too far, too quick. So I liked that. I like that it's learn. He's still learning. And if we had that earlier movie, the first movie that you're talking about here, he would have already done that. So I don't see how that would have fitted into what they've done here.
Isn't that, I mean, like he's still like that Uncle Ben character that I mentioned before.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of substituted with Tony Stark here, very much so. Like Tony Stark is the mentor character in this, but he's not like this Spider-Man isn't. He's not striving to. He doesn't enjoy. I guess the critical thing is we get sort of that montage where he's the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, and I love that idea. I love the idea of the superhero who just kind of you get a montage where they're just there and they go around like just solving stuff and solving like minor problems. I love that scene in the 1978 Superman where he's just flying around saving the president and getting cats out of trees. I love those moments where it's not a big villain. It's just kind of this montage of this great thing. So I love that idea of the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, and you sort of feel just go flinging by and get your wallet back and it'll be great. But here it's kind of that's portrayed very much as kind of this very tedious, unsatisfying thing for Spider-Man. I mean, it's not fun. Like he spends the whole movie. It's not just him learning. He doesn't learn like a greater lesson or a more universe. He doesn't learn that with great power comes great responsibility. He spends the entire movie trying to get the attention and the validation of this 50-year-old guy who is Tony Stark, this 50-year-old rich guy who is constantly seeking the approval of. That's really what's driving the movie. There's a little bit of other learning involved where he sort of learns a few things, but yeah, it seems like he's spending the entire movie just trying to get the validation of this one guy who is really popular from other movies we've seen, and it's not relatable, and it's not. I mean, it's what is that like? He's not it's not like thriving. He's not sort of, it's not this energetic sense of he's going to go and bumble through and figure out the best thing to do. He just wants this acceptance by an established old billionaire. It's kind of tedious and it's not good. Whereas the villain is sort of tries to make his own fortune in the only way. Well, you know, he sells weapons probably to terrorists, but he does kind of try and make his own way in this changing world and make something of it, which I find a lot more interesting. I've sort of had this bizarre problem where well, not a problem, but this very much this sense that I find the villains in these movies a lot more interesting than the heroes. And this time I was actually actively rooting for Vulture or Bird Guy or whatever his name was. I wanted him to pull off his heist. I wanted him to win because Spider-Man just I mean, he wanted to be the rich guy. He didn't want to suck up to the rich guy. I liked that a lot more. I didn't think it worked as well. I think you could make this character. This seems like a good Ms. Marvel movie potentially. The notion of someone who grows up loving these big heroes. That's very much part of the of Kamala Khan at the moment. This is Spider-Man. It's a different thing. I don't think this works as a Spider-Man movie particularly well. It's not got those basic elements of the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man or the with great power comes great responsibility too much. He's a fanboy.
He is a fanboy, and I agree that he does see the helping the lady across the street and getting the churro from her a bit tedious, um, but I think he does learn it. Like you see it at the end where Tony offers him everything, and he doesn't take it. He doesn't take it. He's like, no, I'm right being the little guy for the moment. I understand I've got a lot more to do before I'm up to that level. I think he does get there. But I will agree with you with Vulture. I will agree with you with Vulture. I love Vulture. I love Michael Keaton.
Yeah, who it's but even that ending scene, like it doesn't feel like he's seen the value in what he does and is capable of. It feels like he's just, you know, he's learned his place. You go and do this, young man. Even if someone tells you, you know, you even if the guy you've been sucking up to the whole movie tells you you're good, you know, you just learn your place. It's I don't know. It was so frustrating.
No, I did like it. What with the main plot points? So we see him face off with Vulture a few times. He gets to see Vulture's face and his identity on the ferry. Were you shocked? Because I was shocked when he opens the door to take the girl to the dance, and Michael Keaton's standing there. It blew me away.
I thought it was a good reveal.
It was great. They did a really good job of that.
Yeah, I was too bored to be shocked by that point. Yeah, I will agree. That is a really well done reveal. So let's spoil that because this is the hard spoiled. So Michael Keaton as Adrian Toomes, not only the villain, but the dad of the girl that Peter Parker likes. Ooh, ooh. Which is really, really interesting. And sort of the source of, I think, no. Well, yeah, there's some interesting elements in one of the mid-credit scenes there, I think. Yeah, I thought that, yes, to answer your original question and stop rambling, yes, I thought that was a fantastic reveal that they pulled off there.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. Michael Keaton, I'm not a Spider-Man lover. I haven't loved any of the previous Spider-Man films, and I've never really read the comics of them. So Spider-Man is not my guy when it comes to characters I Jones for. But Michael Keaton got me to the cinema to see this. The trailers and his character acting is unbelievable, and this just adds to it. And everything he just masters, even if it is a ridiculous Marvel villain like Vulture, or like a dramatic role he had in Spotlight. Spotlight was amazing, and he pulled off an amazing performance in it. So Michael Keaton's the one who sold me on going to this, but I enjoyed this immensely. This is a lot more enjoyable than I think Doctor Strange was for me, and a hell of a lot more enjoyable than Guardians was. Guardians 2, sorry. I love Guardians 1, but Guardians 2 was not good. So far, we've got one more MCU film coming out later in the year, Thor. I really wasn't expecting Spider-Man to be higher in my Marvel list of 2017, but it really is. Have you seen any of the other films directed by John Watts? Have you seen Clown or Cop Car?
I have not.
You got to check out Cop Car. I think you'll really like it. So far he's done like these three films he's directed, and I've loved them all. Clown is fantastic. It is a creepy horror film where this guy finds a clown outfit and he dresses up for his son's birthday, but then he can't get it off. He starts turning into this weird ass creepy clown. It's fantastic. And Cop Car, he really knows how to grab the innocence of children and make it like bring that on screen and make it really fun, and but have them still in very real scenarios and real danger and stuff. And
being a Spider-Man, or
well, that works in this and Cop Car. So I think you will really like Cop Car. You may not enjoy Spider-Man, but you will like Cop Car.
Did you think, like, in terms of tone or anything, this was at all like Cop Car, apart from that theme of children?
Yeah, just that child. It's got that child having fun but not really knowing what they're getting into sort of vibe, and it kind of feels like that in Cop Car. So I could see if like the Marvel Studios execs went, "Hey, we need someone who knows how to bring that to the MCU in this one film. Like, hopefully next time he has a bit more idea and he doesn't have a woman in a suit telling him what to do all the time. A lot like Tony Stark."
Terry means Spider-Man himself has a woman in a suit, not John Watts. John Watts doesn't have a suit lady.
He might have a girl Friday.
Jennifer Connelly is not in John Watts's suit telling him what to do.
Oh, is that the voice?
Yeah, it's Jennifer Connelly.
No, I never picked it.
Yeah, I saw it in the credits.
Does she do the voice in Tony's suit as well?
No, that's someone else. I forget who.
Did you, because I know you haven't had a habit of doing this, did you stick around for the after credit scene?
So I went to the Heroes for Sale, the comic book screening, and they were like, and this was kind of a reckoning for superhero movies for me. So I was like, okay, I'll hang around for the end credit scene, because that's what superhero movies have. This was kind of, to an extent, this was me trying to decide whether I was still interested in superhero movies. I stayed for the first one, and then I decided I needed to catch the train, so I didn't catch the last one, whatever that was.
All right. What was the first one? Because I can't remember it.
He meets the guy from Orphan Black in the prison, and the guy's like,
"Oh, that's
right. Spider-Man." I thought that was quite good. I thought that was a good character moment for Michael Keaton's Birdman.
Well, the last one I did stick around for. You know how during the school scenes they had Captain America with his educational videos and such?
Yes.
Well, at the end, it was Captain America coming on doing one of them about patience, and you've got to have patience because sometimes it's a good virtue to have. And then he looks off screen and says, "How many more of these do I have to do? Oh, they're so disappointing. Oh, sometimes you wait around forever and they're just so disappointing." And that was it. Oof. So you wait around forever just for Captain America to say, "Well, yep, you didn't wait around for much."
So yeah, did you think this movie was actually funny at times?
I laughed. I enjoyed the fun in it. I wouldn't say the jokes landed too well. I think they landed better than Ant-Man, and I think I think they
But
landed better than Guardians 2 because they didn't try so hard for them.
and it wasn't as icky. Hmm.
Mm.
Yeah, it's odd. Like we were talking, I think last time you sort of mentioned that like Guardians had been quite the first Guardians of the Galaxy was quite popular, so a lot of people were trying to make colourful movies. As a result of that, I felt, which I disagreed with at the time, and I still kind of do, but I think in this, I thought there were very specific moments where they were trying to repeat, or elements that they were trying to repeat the success of the past. There's like a pop rock soundtrack, which is sort of the same thing from Guardians. It's let's take this element that worked here and put it here. Um, the 6 screenwriters on this film, there are 6, and this isn't sort of story by or character created by, this is 6 screenplay writers are credited on this film. They all felt like a lot of the jokes felt like a writer's room trying to get that Joss Whedon tone that was in
Mm.
Avengers and not getting it right at all. Like it felt like, yeah, and it very much felt like let's try and repeat the elements that we know worked in the last couple of movies, in the sort of the best elements from what we've done before, and just do that ad nauseum because that'll work. I know it didn't work. It was far too transparent for me. I didn't. I felt like a lot of the jokes were just someone had just like in the screenplay at one point. Someone had gone like page 2 jokes, then a plot point happens. So, I didn't like it. Having said that, I thought Zendaya's Michelle was hilarious. I thought she was like my favorite character in the movie.
See, she's the one I really didn't get.
She was
Um,
amazing.
yeah, I get it,
No, you just said you didn't.
but I get why other people get it, but I
Okay.
don't. I didn't get it because she's like stalking Peter Parker, even though she actually says, "I'm not stalking you." She really is.
Oh, that
Like,
bit was tedious.
who sits in detention just to draw pictures of other people being sad
That
and
was amazing. It was so weird, and it sort of comes out in just this one sentence. These perfect sentences,
mm,
perfectly delivered sentences. Oh, it was fantastic. It was
I did like his mate. What's his name? Like his best friend.
Ned.
Um,
Ned,
was it
played by
Ned?
Jacob Batalon. Oh,
Yeah, I
so
did like his. Like even when they were just in his bedroom there talking about something, um, and he's laying down in the bed, and all of a sudden he sits up and he's got the Spider-Man mask on. Like that, just the small things like that. I actually liked that. But the same character who's played by who's a Michael Penner in Ant-Man, I didn't like. I didn't like his type of humor, which is kind of similar. I would say they're similar characters as like to the hero, um, and they kind of try and bring the same comedic element. But I liked this one a lot more than the one in Ant Man. I don't know why, but I did.
it was funnier. I'll give it that. It was funnier and more enjoyable than Ant Man, but and more interesting than Ant Man. But mostly because the villain was really interesting. I think
Yeah, Michael Keaton is the man in everything.
yeah, he
Um,
was really fantastic. Did you like how? Remember, like a while back when there was like talk of Donald Glover becoming Spider Man? It was when they were casting the Andrew Garfield version. It was like, oh my
yeah,
god, imagine if there was a black Spider-Man. That would be amazing. And it was, I think, Miles Morales was Spider-Man at the time in the comics. It's like, oh my god, this would be fantastic. And now Donald Glover has turned up as a criminal. Oy. Although apparently this character, I sort of googled this, is Miles Morales' uncle. So Miles Morales is the other Spider-Man, who is an African American Spider-Man in the comics. I don't know that much about him. I just know he's a thing. And apparently this Aaron Davis character played by Donald Glover is his uncle. So here you go. You get to play the uncle of the character you like. Still a criminal. Oh,
there
jeez,
you go.
that's not good.
There you go.
Ugh. Oh man. Yeah, I didn't find it fun. I didn't find it fun particularly well.
I think you're finding things less and less fun.
I've been wondering that this year. Like, I've been like, is it me? Or no, it's the children who are wrong. Because there hasn't been much I've been looking forward to. I sort of looked at the flicks.co.nz upcoming films a while back, and most of the year, like there's things I was interested in, things like Valerian and a few other bits and pieces. I found some cool stuff at the film festival this year as well. But yeah, I haven't been that excited about stuff for a while. Having said that, we just did a
Don't say.
what?
If you're going to talk about a movie I don't want to hear about, I don't want to
No,
hear about.
no, it's not that movie.
Okay.
Oh my god. But when the apes were like dressed up as like a guy in a big coat, no, that doesn't happen
That's
in
Muppets.
the It's pretty much the same thing.
They
No,
do Muppet Man.
yeah, they pretty much do. Yeah.
I don't call the
Um,
Muppet Man.
we got a trailer today for A Wrinkle in Time, and I'm really excited for that because I think that looks really good. So there's a movie I'm excited. And Logan Lucky. I'm excited to see Logan Lucky when that comes out because that looks bonkers.
I thought you would have been excited for like Baby Driver.
I was when I first saw the trailer. So this movie that apparently has an amazing soundtrack, that we've all been told has an amazing soundtrack. I've been judging on the cars, and when they put like an old Subaru in, I was like, yeah, that's legit. Like a well-maintained Subaru WRX. That's a driver's car. That's good. But then they've sort of some of the posters they've gone down the Chrysler, Fiat Chrysler product placement route of putting a Hellcat in it because Chrysler will just give you a Hellcat apparently. So I was like, meh. But this is I'm still looking forward to Baby Driver. It's out this weekend. I'm going to go see it. I'm expecting to enjoy it. Probably, yeah. My opinions of cars not that relevant to the movie as a whole. I'm sure it'll be very good. I'm sure it'll be exciting. I am kind of excited about that, just not hugely, not shiveringly so. But A Wrinkle in
But
Time, my God, that looked amazing.
I'm going to agree. I haven't been excited for a lot. Apes. I've got War for the Planet of the Apes, which is out everywhere except for Australia at the moment. I'm hugely excited for that. I'm a huge Planet of the Apes fan, so that's my huge one. I'm very excited for. But for the rest of the year, like by now, we usually hear about like some of the smaller indies that come out later on in the year and that, and there's really been nothing that's grabbed me. Even at the Sydney Film Festival, I was planning on going, but it's a 2 hour trip there, and I was looking at the things that were coming out, and nothing really grabbed me to go and see it. So I just didn't bother. Um, so I kind of agree that there hasn't been anything to get really excited about, especially because Guardians let me down so much. They were my main two, Planet of the Apes and Guardians this year. So one's been a huge disappointment, and I don't want to hear your comments on the other one.
No, fair enough. Atomic Blonde is
Yeah.
coming. That looks pretty good. I had some surprises. I like Power Rangers a lot more than I thought I would.
Oh, did you go to see? Did we talk about this? Did you see that at the movies? I don't
Yeah, I
remember.
saw Power Rangers at the movies. I
Ah.
think it was downtime when we didn't have a podcast.
Hmm.
Power Rangers
Yeah,
was pretty good.
I enjoyed Power Rangers. It was kind of similar to Spider Man in
They're
some
very,
regards.
but and I think that the reason I liked it more is absolutely because they're not fawning over. They're kind of a ragtag team, and everyone's like, "Oh, you're not very good. We'll have to do this ourselves." And they're like, "No, we've got power of friendship. Watch!" And then, and they threw Elizabeth Banks at the moon. It was amazing. Also, this is a hard spoil for the movie Power Rangers, but that was great. And then they're like, flick, and she goes flying. That was the best thing. Valerian is, I mean,
I
Valerian, you.
saw I saw the trailer for Larry before Spider Man, and it was fantastic up on the big screen. The colors in it and the movement, everything. It looked so crisp and so clear and beautiful.
I'm always down for a Luc Besson movie, but I mean, you see it sort of from the person who brought you The Fifth Element, and you're like, yes, yes. But then it's like, and the guy who brought you Lucy, and you're like, oh no, oh. So yeah, like what we've seen so far, it could go either way as well. Like it could be like a really great visual film, or it could be just like a CGI fest. It could be either of those things, and it could be a Fifth Element, or it could be a Lucy. It's just I'm excited. I'm trying to hold back so I don't get disappointed when I actually see it.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Yeah. I think. Do we have anything else to say about Spider-Man or any other movies that we're planning on just spoiling this session?
No, not really. I don't think so. Are we just spoiling random movies? I don't want to do that.
Well, we just spoiled Power Rangers.
Okay. No, let's just wrap it up. Let's not just ruin things for people. Okay, so what we have a podcast. We have a blog, our main blog, where we write movie reviews and other nonsense. Is at sfdfmoviereviews.tumblr.com. You can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/sfdfmoviereviews. You can find us on Twitter at sfdfmoviereview, singular. What else? If you just want to listen to the podcast, we're at soundcloud.com/sfdf or wherever good SoundClouds are found. We're on YouTube. Don't know what our YouTube address is, but
We are
that's
on
okay
YouTube.
because I'll give you a secret hint at the end of this of how you can find it. If you want to email
Just
us,
search SFDF movie reviews in YouTube.
yeah, try that for one
Try to
thing. What I was
search.
going to tell them. That's probably the best effort. Yeah. Yeah, we have an email address. We're amazing. It's in space no one can eat ice cream at gmail.com. And if you want to find links to all these things, including the YouTube channel, as well as a lot of other great stuff, they're linked down the right side of the main blog, which again is sfdfmoviereviews.tumblr.com. Whew. Okay, so that's about it from us. Talking about Spider-Man and other men and like a funny lady. If you want to, oh no, I just did that, so I guess it's time to say goodbye. So say goodbye, Terry.
Goodbye, Terry.
All right, bye.
Bye.